Alright guys, we're doing something a little bit different today. So in the background of playing Arc Raiders and all the other stuff that I've played, I've always really enjoyed playing World of Tanks. So today, I mean, nobody else is really going to be doing too many of these shard openings, so hey, I'm going to throw out 230 boxes so that way you can see how unlucky I can be. Obviously, you can see that I've already opened one. I got a free box for playing a little. So we're going to go ahead and crank these open 5 at a time. Probably not really going to touch base on it too much. This is going to be a shorter video. Alright, so something that you guys saw there after we're like 15 boxes in. Yeah, we're about 15 boxes in. So as you can see, we've got 2 of the tier 2 boxes already. Now for the remainder of the video, you guys saw the animations a little bit. So we're gonna crank the animations off and keep pushing. Alright, we should be getting close to our bad luck prevention. Should be right now. So we got the little tier 9 wheeled vehicle. That's what she looks like. We're 17 away from our prevention of being unlucky. Alright, we're about almost 100 boxes in. We've got 2 of the tanks. So now we got the Grom, which most of you probably already had previously, but I never got the Grom. So, you have it. Another 47 to go for unlucky prevention. Not bad. That was actually a pretty quick turnaround. So now we've gotten 3 of the tanks from the lower tier loot boxes, which I understand that the Protipo 6 is actually a relatively decent tank, or was. It got nerfed. I'm not sure. I'm not really a medium player, so. All right, so we still have 83 boxes. We're pulling very quick here out of the standard boxes. So we got the Chrysler MTC. So far, I think we don't have too many more of the little tanks to come out of the basic boxes. Let's take a little gander. We have 108 shards left. Let's see, what are we missing tank-wise? So we have 108 shards left. And we are looking out of the tier 1 boxes, missing the Albi, the WZ, the Yongbing, the KPZ, and the BZYG. So 4 tanks, 108 boxes. Let's see if we can get them all. Ooh, one of the new loot box tanks with a little animation here. WZBZYG. So my understanding, this tank is kind of broken. I believe I saw Max was talking about it, and like the gun's derpy on this tank, but the armor is like absolutely insane, basically broken from my understanding. So look forward to trying this one out. It has like the Grom mechanic where the closer you are, the more damage you do. You know, that typical Polish activity there. So see how this one is in game. All right, so now we got one of the new tanks there with the BZYG. Now we got the Yongbing, the KPZ, the WZ, and the Albi. We have 44 of these standard crates left. Keep them ripping. All right, last 5 of the standard shards. Let's see what happens. All right, so now back at the objects. Remember, we bought 230 of these boxes. So on the tier 2 loot boxes, we've got 39, which is 1 away from a guaranteed reward tank. So if we're really unlucky here, we will not get any of the tier 2 tanks. Let's take a look at the tier 2 tanks. So over here, we can obviously get a little bit of free XP, bunch of different, crew books, universal guides, XP, boosters, premium days, a couple 3D attachments. We have a 20% chance to get more shards, 15% chance at components, and 5x per battles, which a couple of these would really hit. That would be really nice. Now, listen, there's a tank in here that I've really wanted, and I got very unlucky on the last couple box openings. If I'm gonna get any tank out of these 4, I really want the SVAC. I've wanted the SVAC for a long time, and I got super, super, super unlucky the last time that it was in a box set, and I'm pretty sure, like, I got every other thing except for the SVAC, and I was like, I'm not buying it. Like, I've already spent way too much. I was super, super unlucky. So hopefully, we'll get it this time. All right, we got 39 of the tier 2s out of our 230 standards. Let's rip into them. Also, we'll get an opening animation one time here for the tier 2s. Ooh. Okay. That's not bad. So we got 1 of the premium boxes. Or the tier 3 loot boxes, right? Shards of. All right, we're going to check those off. 25 more of the tier 2s to go. Let's ride. So we're getting a lot of these core shards, which is, it's not horrible. Not horrible for us. Unlucky on the tank front so far. So I'm not loving that. More core shards. Okay, 12 more boxes to go here. A lot of free XP. Are we gonna really get unlucky here? Okay. We were 2 away from our unlucky prevention, and we got the Chieftain. Tier 10 Chieftain heavy tank. I don't know a lot about this tank. I can't remember if I've seen it, fought it, or anything like that. I honestly know nothing about this tank, so not too knowledgeable on that front. Sorry. Okay, we've got our last 2 boxes here. Let's see if we get lucky. Hate to see that. All right. So now we're on to our tier 3 loot boxes. We got kind of hosed on the second one. We at least got a tank. That's not bad. Now, we have half of the required 4 shards to get a guaranteed tank. Remember, this opening is $280 US. So, take a look at the overall stats at the end and see if it was worth. All right. See what happens. Lots of gold. More shards for a reroll. Crew member. Ooh, we got the MBTB. Okay. If memory serves, I'm pretty sure this is one of those ones that has the double shot mechanic, so you shoot once and then another shell comes out pretty much immediately after it. So, if memory serves, this tank's actually relatively decent. And honestly, pretty lucky considering you're only guaranteed a tank within 20 boxes, and we opened 5. So, not too shabby, not too shabby. So we're looking for... We got 1 of the 3 tanks. So let's see if we can get the medium version of the SVAC, the Serpente, or the Squirtle, some people call it. Alright, last 5. About as expected, about as expected. So we got a standard one again. Let's rip it. Okay, not great. And we got 1 more of the tier 2s. So see what maybe we get lucky and pull another core. Finally. Dude, finally. Crazy that we get a re-roll tier 2 box shard, and we got the SVAC out of it. Genuinely, very happy with that. That was actually that was a good pull. That was a good pull. Those of you that aren't familiar with the SVAC is basically just a double barrel for fun machine. You have no armor, you go sit in a bush, and you actually get better accuracy with the double barrel shot. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right, we got another re-roll on the tier 2. Roll it. Give us another core shard. Ooh. All right, guys, listen. This is kind of an addition to what we just did. So, the last video that we did. All right, guys, so this is going to be an addition to the video that we just did. I'm just going to tack this all into one video instead of making it 2 videos. So at the standard 280, right? That is the biggest one that you're able to buy. What we did is we tacked on about another, it was like 155 or something like that USD after taxes for another 120. So this, in total, at the end of this portion of the video, it would have been like we've opened 350 of the standard boxes. So we're going to open the other 120 here. We're going to tack this onto the back portion of the video. So if you watched this far, cool. All right, so now we got another 120. We are guaranteed a reward in 2 here. So recap, everybody. That's what we got for the first 230 boxes. The 291 that you're seeing, 1 was from a mission, and the other 60 was boxes that we re-rolled into there, so you can actually see we rolled 44 of the regular frags, 10, 6. So, see what happens. All right, starting off out of the gate here, got another one of the tanks. From my understanding, this tank's pretty good, except for, like, there's this ricochet angle, but everything else is pretty easy to pen on this thing. So, see how she is. All right, so we should be guaranteed to get all of the tanks from the tier 1. so far I feel like very underwhelmed with these tier 1 loot boxes. Like, you're not really getting very much. So this is like primarily what you're paying for. And, you know, it's a lot of 1 days, some 50,000s. Like, it's really nothing crazy. A lot of boosters. All right, we kind of got another lucky pull there. It was pretty quick. I mean, we just pulled one at, I think, what did we buy? 120. So in 34 boxes, we pulled 2 of the tanks. It definitely seems like the tank percentage on the lower boxes, like for having less, you're going to be able to get probably all of these tanks. I mean, we pulled 6 out of the 10 and we already owned 1. So all in all, it's not too shabby for the tier 1 boxes. Now, whether the tanks are worth it or not, that's up to you. So, keep ripping them. So I believe this does guarantee... oh, okay, well, that actually does it right there. So, I mean, we open another 5, 10, whatever that just was between the two. We got another one of the tanks. This one kind of looks interesting. I'm not real sure what to expect out of this one. So let's do a little check here. So we have 86 boxes and 1 of the tanks left to get. So if we get the Albie, we could actually potentially do pretty good on like gold reimbursement or some duplicates. So it would maybe make these a little bit more worth it. I'm not sure what these are worth for gold, so we're gonna have to just see. So if we're lucky, if we're really lucky, we get the Albie, and then we maybe get 1 or 2 of the tanks for a little bit of a kickback in gold, which will really kind of help alleviate, you know, such a hefty price. Because at this point, I mean, we're $420 in, I think, is the math. It's not good. Okay, there it is. Last tank. So, I mean, in basically 10 boxes, we got 2 of the tanks that we needed out of the tier 1. So from what I understand, this is basically like the Foch line. This is equivalent to the tier 8, but you get a much better rotation out of your turret, so you don't really have to move. But you also have, like, no armor. Very overmatchable. All right. So, I mean, we are pretty good. I mean, we're definitely going to get at least 1 kickback in gold here. If we're lucky, maybe 2 or 3. So let's see what we get. $250K, that's not too shabby. A little bit of cope. 200K credits there. It's the highlight. Lots of boosters. 3-day premium. 6 days of premium and 150 credits. I mean, it's really not... Tier 1's not horrible, but the tiered loot box system is very strange. You know, I'm going to keep my opinions on it pretty reserved, outside of the fact that I don't agree with tiered loot boxes. Spending money to have the chance at, just a chance at a greater tank, is kind of weird. Like, buying the tier 1 boxes, you already know, right? If you get really unlucky, like out of this $155 that this was, I could very well not get a tank out of the tier 2 pool or the tier 3 pool if I just don't get lucky with how many of these shards I get, which I think is kind of a grievance. Oh, there's a duplicate tank right there. Interesting. Okay, so you don't get gold back on the tiered loot boxes. I didn't know this. I did not know this. So if you get a duplicate tank, you're guaranteed another core loot box. So again, you know, like the other like how the other loot boxes are, right? If you get a duplicate tank, you are guaranteed to get the gold equivalent to that tank. In this one, you just get another chance at a tank. I don't know how I feel about that. Coming in, typical standard loot box stuff here. A couple days of premium. 200k. I mean, the credits are good. I mean, you're getting a good amount of credits, so if you really credit for and you have, you know, a couple hundred extra bucks laying around, got another duplicate tank where we're gonna get a core fragment from. Hey, on the bright side, at least you get the tier 3 loot box and not a tier 2 loot box. Worse. But it's really not too bad. I mean, it seems like after you get through that initial, like, pulling all the tanks, the loot boxes kind of become more beneficial to buy. Kinda. But that original opening was kind of brutal, I mean, it wasn't horrid. I think we were relatively pretty lucky getting a lot of tank pulls. So if we can get lucky here and maybe pull a couple more duplicate tanks out of this 15, like if we get at least one more duplicate tank, at least another core loot box, and hopefully we'll get lucky and we'll get all 3 of the tier 4s. Okay, last 5 of the standard. Round 2. Okay. So, really not too good. So that's our duplicate tank rewards there. Now, this is the messed up part. So out of that additional 150 that we spent there, we've gotten 17 of these fragments. We are not even guaranteed to get a tank out of tier 2. With where we sit currently, we are not guaranteed at all. Now, we did get really lucky on the original pull, and out of one of our extra boxes, we got the SFAC. So all in all, it's not horrible. If I had to pick here, I don't really care for either of these 2 tanks. Honestly, I think I would rather get 25,000 free experience and probably some cores. That's really what we need here. All right, let's see what happens. It's a core. Another core. Another core. Wouldn't it be kind of strange if I didn't get either the tier 2 tanks, the remaining 2 tanks that I need out of the tier 2 loot boxes? Wouldn't it be kind of crazy if I didn't get those, but I got all of the core boxes? Or all of the core tanks? It'd be cool. Okay. Really heavy on the free XP. Which is good if you're still tech tree grinding. Another core. Keep it pushing here. Another core. I think I would like to see at least one more tank pull out of this, just to not be unlucky. I feel like you should have a better chance, honestly, as you get through the regular boxes. But it is good. I mean, the regular boxes treated me pretty well. I got all the tanks out of it. You know, what more can you really ask for? A lot of free XP, a lot of cores. I don't think we're going to pull a tank, which makes sense, honestly. Considering that we got one extra of the tier 2s towards the end of our last pull, and we pulled the SFAC out of it, so it makes sense. All right, we have 3 more here. Let me know down in the comments if you think we're gonna get lucky and rip a tank here. Good luck. Sour loss there. 8k free XP, 10 days premium, another 3D attachment. Not horrible. So again, at the tier 3 loot boxes, we are not guaranteed. We're 4 off from a guaranteed. Let me know down in the comments if you think we're gonna get absolutely rinsed our last 10 cores. See. Okay, a lot of gold. Okay. Hey! Got the Serpente, the medium SVAC. Very similar to the SVAC, but in medium tank form. Not bad. Not bad. We could have got very unlucky there. So now on our tier 3 boxes, we're only missing one of the tanks. So we got all the tier 1s. We're missing the actual, like, this event's heavy tank. We could get really lucky with a fat amount of free XP. And if we get lucky, we pull the last tank. So, let's see. Here we go. Last 5 of the cores. And it looks like we got one. Maybe we can do a god all the way back up here. We can get a tier 2 and then another tier 3 box. Who knows? Will we get the tank? Will we get the tank? Hey, we did. We got the Squirtle. Okay. I mean, surely this is kind of crazy, right? So we didn't get all of the tier 2 tanks. We got all of the tier 1 loot box tanks. We didn't get all the tier 2s. And in 10 boxes, we pull the Serpente and the Squirtle. I mean, shabby. All right, let's see what we pull here. We got all the tier 3 tanks. We didn't get all of the tier 2 tanks. Very weird. Very, very weird. Hey, another shard. All right, let's open our new tier 2 shard. And that shuts it down. That's it. Okay. So this was like an add-on. I just decided to do this because 1, there was a couple tanks I still wanted. And 2, we're in the position where I can let you guys become informed off of me opening the boxes. Okay, so according to my calculations, we're roughly $435 USD. 435 USD into opening all the packs that we did. So this is the total that you could expect. $435. Your hard-earned money. We got 20 core boxes, which is actually kind of, we got really lucky out of tier 3 because you're only guaranteed, what is it, out of every 20? And we got all 3 of the tanks with only getting 20 of the cores. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Now, it was expensive to get there. Very expensive to get there. And that cost us $435. Got me all 3 of the tier 3 tanks. We opened 62 of the tier 2 boxes and got absolutely rinsed. Absolutely rinsed. There's still 2 tanks in the tier 2s that we didn't get. We got the ones we wanted, so hey. And then out of the standard boxes, we got, what, 14 extra standard boxes. So not bad. So it's roughly about we equate to a little under $1 per box is essentially what we were able to get. Total. With all the extra boxes that we were at about a $435 price point for this pool. 14 of the tanks. There's the list. I'm not going to list all of them off. Got all the tier 1s, 2 of the tier 2s, and all 3 of the tier 3 loot boxes. 53 3D attachments. We only got 1 extra crew from the original pooling. We got almost a year of World of Tanks Premium, 20,000 gold, close to 200k free XP, 12.3 mil creds, 900 components, 14 manuals, 130 booklets, 48 guides, and only an extra 6. Which I don't even think I got an extra 1, actually. I'm pretty sure 6 was from the original pooling, by the way. And 421 of the boosters. So, now officially, this is the end. I'm not buying any more boxes. There is not another part to this video. Okay? So, let me know down in the comments if you think those total pulls were worth the $435 US. And again, let me know what you guys think about tiered loot boxes down in the comments. Peace and love. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Tell somebody you love them. Deuces. Later.